Arthur Schopenhauer is one of the most blunt and controversial philosophers in history. While many admire him for his deep insights into suffering and desire, few are willing to confront his most shocking views, especially about women. Today, we're going to explore a dark truth that Schopenhauer believed most men continue to ignore. You may agree or disagree, but what's important is that you understand. If you value truth, philosophy, and honest perspectives on relationships, hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Part 1. Who was Schopenhauer? Schopenhauer was born in 1788 and was a German philosopher best known for his work The World as Will and Representation. He was among the first to blend Western philosophy with the pessimistic spirit of the East. He believed that desire is the root of all suffering, and he applied this view to love, sex, and gender roles. Women are meant to obey. They remain children their entire lives. Schopenhauer, on Women, 1851. But what did he really mean? And was he completely wrong, or just saying what society didn't want to hear? Part 2. The Dark Truth according to Schopenhauer. Truth 1. Women are programmed by nature to choose what's useful, not what's good. Schopenhauer didn't believe in romantic love as we often imagine it. He believed women don't choose men for character or emotions, but for survival value, who can offer safety, financial support, and good genes for their children. Love is nothing but a trick of the survival instinct to continue the species. Schopenhauer. Dr. David Buss, University of Texas, found. In global studies, women consistently ranked financial resources and ambition higher than looks in a potential partner. In contrast, men prioritized youth and appearance, which relate to fertility. Melissa once dated a deep, artistic, kind musician. But she married a man she didn't really click with, because he had a house and a stable job. I know, I feel bad. But I can't live off a dream. I need something real. Schopenhauer would nod in agreement. He wasn't saying women are bad. He said they follow instincts that prioritize survival over ideals. The problem is, most men don't realize this. Truth 2. Emotions are tools, not absolute truth. A woman's emotions change like the weather. But men treat them as a survival compass. Women aren't fake. They just feel and express emotions more strongly and frequently. It's how they connect, survive, and control their environment. Emotional contagion theory shows women are more empathetic and emotionally expressive. Social exchange theory shows they use emotional language to influence behavior and manage relationships. Brian dated a girl who cried every time he gave her feedback. He always ended up apologizing. Later, she admitted, "I knew if I cried, you'd back down." Most women aren't trying to manipulate, but they learn that tears, silence, or a smile can help them get what they want. Schopenhauer called this the soft art of nature. Truth 3. Women understand their value more than men understand theirs. Women are acutely aware of their power during their reproductive peak, beauty, youth, fertility, and they use it. Meanwhile, men often don't recognize their own value until after age 30 to 35, when they've become more financially stable, emotionally mature, and self-aware. Pew Research, 2021, shows single men in their 30s to 40s tend to attract younger women. But many of these men don't realize it, because they're shaped by early life experiences of rejection. Sam used to feel like a loser because he wasn't loved in high school. But after age 33, successful and more grounded, he was surprised to find women noticing him. That's when I realized, my value isn't in my youth. It's in my strength. Invest in yourself. Build slow, steady value, because men don't expire as early as society claims. Truth 4. Love is a transaction disguised by emotions. Marriage is a social contract to serve the survival instinct, not a love story dream. Exchange theory in relationships says all relationships are based on value exchange, whether it's material, emotional, or status-based. Emotions make the exchange feel beautiful, but they don't erase its nature. Many celebrity marriages fall apart when the value market shifts. One loses fame, another faces scandal. The love fades, but the real reason is, the exchange is no longer equal. Stay clear-eyed. Know what you're giving and getting. Don't blindly live the illusion of "I'll sacrifice everything for love." Part 2.1. Where was Schopenhauer wrong? A powerful idea, if left unchallenged, can easily become extreme. While Schopenhauer made some valid points, he was also influenced by his era, personal emotions, and a deep disconnect with women. Mistake 1. Generalizing all women into a single type. Women are by nature superficial, pragmatic, and lack metaphysical capacity. This is an emotionally driven generalization. He judged all women through a negative lens, primarily shaped by his own emotional wounds and negative experiences. He was estranged from both his mother and his lover. Dr. Carol Gilligan, a renowned psychologist, pointed out, women exhibit a distinct moral reasoning style, one that emphasizes relationships and communal responsibility, rather than being shallow or selfish. A Harvard study found that middle-aged women often sacrifice their own needs to care for parents, children, and partners, not out of self-interest, but because of emotional bonds. We cannot judge an entire gender through the bitter lens of one lonely man. Mistake 2. Idealizing men as innocent victims. He claimed that men are victims of emotional manipulation by women, often exploited because their biological instincts push them to fall in love. In reality, many harmful behaviors in relationships come from men: emotional abuse, infidelity, control, or evading responsibility. Blaming women entirely shows a lack of emotional maturity. Lisa loved a successful man, but he often said, "It's not my fault, you're just too sensitive." Over time, she was gaslight and began to doubt herself. "It's not because I manipulated him. It's because I was constantly made to feel like I was wrong." 56% of gaslighting and emotional control cases come from men. Love doesn't make men innocent, awareness and character do. Mistake 3. Failing to see women as capable of deep, intellectual growth. Women are incapable of philosophy or abstract thinking. This view is now widely considered deeply sexist. History is full of female philosophers, Simone de Beauvoir, Hannah Arendt, and today, thinkers like Angela Davis continue to prove the opposite. The lack of women in philosophy wasn't due to lack of ability, but centuries of exclusion from academic institutions. Today, research shows that women often exhibit superior metacognition and emotional analysis in various academic fields. Schopenhauer ignored a fundamental truth: every human being can develop deep thought when given opportunity and freedom. Gender is not destiny. Philosophy can help us understand the world, but it should never be a locked door that shuts out the heart. Schopenhauer was right that love isn't always roses. But he was wrong to turn his own wounds into universal truths. And our male audience must also learn this. You don't need to love blindly. But don't live bitterly either. Part 3. Things men still ignore. 1. Men idealize women and pay a heavy price for it. Many men don't fall in love with the real woman in front of them, but with a perfect version they've created in their minds. This is called projection bias. According to psychologist Daniel Kahneman, people often assign the qualities they want to see onto others, especially in romantic relationships. Tom, a single musician, fell deeply in love with a passionate young painter. He believed she was his soulmate, his ideal woman. But after 2 years, she left him for a wealthy sponsor. She didn't betray me. My dream betrayed me. Pay attention to repeated behavior, not just words. Don't fall in love with someone's potential, love who they are right now. Date for at least 6 months before making serious emotional or financial investments. 2. Confusing attention with love, a classic mistake. Men often respond strongly to attention, especially when it's rare. But attention is not equal to commitment. This is known as intermittent reinforcement, sporadic affection that hooks the brain like a drug. A 2020 Harvard study showed that inconsistent feedback, hot one day, cold the next, increases dopamine, making men more addicted to emotional highs than even sex. Daniel met a beautiful girl online. She texted "I miss you" at 2 a.m., sometimes video called him while crying. After 3 months, he sent her $7,000, thinking it was love. She never even met me in person. But I felt emotionally trapped. If she only reaches out when she needs something, you're a tool, not a partner. Track behavior patterns. Who initiates? Is it consistent? Intense emotions is not equal to real love. Use reason alongside feeling. 3. Ignoring red flags, hoping to change her. Many men get caught in the savior trap. They see women being rude, manipulative, or dishonest, but still believe, "I'll be the one to change her." According to Dr. Ramani Durvasula, an expert on personality disorders, many people self-destruct believing love can heal all wounds, despite evidence to the contrary. Alex's wife frequently insulted him and threatened divorce unless he sent money to her family. He endured it, thinking she was just stressed with the baby. 4 years later, she filed for divorce and took 70% of his assets. I didn't lose her. I lost myself for not setting boundaries. Red flags are not tests, they're signals to walk away. Write down 5 behaviors you cannot accept. If she repeats them, leave. Real love doesn't bring suffering, confusion, or loss of dignity. 4. Not understanding women's selective needs. Women often choose long-term partners based on resource availability and emotional stability. This isn't materialistic, it's rooted in survival instinct. According to David Buss, Psychology of Human Mating, 2016. 90% of women prioritize safety and stability over looks or passion when choosing a husband. Brian, a young writer, married a woman who loved poetry. After a year of unemployment, she told him, "I married you thinking you'd become someone. But you're just someone who keeps trying." Brian realized her love was based on financial potential, not who he truly was. Don't reveal financial stability too soon. Test her response when you act vulnerable. Set boundaries on support. I'm willing to share, but only if we're long-term partners, not strangers. 5. Men measure their worth by female validation. Many men only feel worthy if they're admired by women or in a relationship. This leads to emotional dependence, a dangerous mindset. According to the American Psychological Association, APA, men who base self-worth on female approval are more likely to experience depression and behavioral disorders after rejection. Josh was once confident. After 3 failed attempts at dating, he began doubting himself, lost sleep, and avoided friends. I thought I was somebody. But if no one wants me, what am I? Build self-esteem from personal achievements, health, and skills, not attention from women. Exercise regularly. Stable testosterone levels increase confidence. Set life goals unrelated to sex or dating. Learn a skill, volunteer, travel. You don't need to fear women. You just need to stop idealizing them, start observing clearly, set boundaries, and respect yourself more than your need to be loved. Part 4. Protecting yourself without resenting women. 1. Understand personal boundaries. Setting limits is strength, not hostility. Many men fail in relationships because they don't know how to protect themselves by setting boundaries. A lack of boundaries makes you vulnerable to being taken advantage of, getting hurt, and losing emotional control. According to Brené Brown, a researcher on emotional boundaries, people who don't know how to set limits are more likely to experience emotional burnout and feelings of betrayal. Boundaries are how you show respect for yourself and protect your emotional space. John, a 38-year-old office worker, used to lend money to his girlfriend repeatedly even though she never paid it back. After learning about boundaries and daring to say no, their relationship became more clear, and John avoided a lot of unnecessary stress. 2. Build a well-rounded self. Confidence is an invisible shield. Confidence isn't about being arrogant, it's about understanding your worth and not letting others hurt you easily. According to Albert Bandura's research on self-efficacy, people who believe in their ability to manage life are less likely to be affected by others' negative behavior. David, a 45-year-old entrepreneur, shared that once he began focusing on his health, learning new skills, and achieving financial stability, he no longer felt the need to win someone's love. People came to him willingly, not out of his neediness. Exercise at least 3 times a week. Learn 1 new skill every month, language, soft skills, etc. Manage personal finances clearly, and avoid unnecessary debt. 3. Know the difference between love and emotional need. Many men mistake emotional neediness for true love, which often leads to getting hurt. According to attachment theory by Bowlby and Ainsworth, people with anxious attachment tend to cling to their partners to ease insecurity, but this prevents the development of a healthy relationship. Mark, a 30-year-old software engineer, constantly felt he needed his girlfriend to avoid loneliness, but he also felt tormented when she didn't meet his expectations. Ask yourself, can I be happy on my own? Spend time developing personal interests outside of the relationship. Practice meditation or journaling to manage your emotions. 4. Listen without self-sacrifice. Honest communication is key. In any relationship, clear and sincere communication is the best way to avoid misunderstandings and emotional pain. According to John Gottman, a renowned marriage researcher, the 4 horsemen that destroy relationships are criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Communicating properly can help avoid these. Tim and his wife used to argue often because he was afraid to express his true feelings. After taking a communication course, they started saying things like, "I feel hurt when you," instead of, "You always hurt me." Use "I feel," instead of "you always." Listen without interrupting or judging. Choose to talk when both are calm, don't argue in anger. 5. Learn to forgive and let go, no hatred, only growth. You can't always change others, but you can change how you respond. Research by Fred Luskin at Stanford University shows that forgiveness helps reduce stress, boost mental health, and improve relationships. James, who was once betrayed, decided to forgive, not because the other person deserved it, but because he wanted to free himself from the burden of hatred. Journal to release emotions. Practice daily letting go meditation for 10 minutes. Seek help from a mental health professional if needed. Protecting yourself doesn't mean hating or confronting others. It's about respecting yourself and learning to love in a healthy way. Apply these steps, and you'll find your relationships become healthier and more sustainable. If you found this section helpful, don't forget to like, share, and comment your story below. Subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next part, where we'll talk about how to balance love and self-preservation without losing your freedom. Part 5. A Woman's Perspective. The Truth Has Two Sides. Before we end, we must be fair. Schopenhauer wrote, in a world dominated by men, where women had no access to education, rights, or financial independence. Many things he said about women, about calculation, the need for security, emotionality over rationality, were actually the result of limited choices, not innate nature. 1. The truth about calculation. Women once had no choice. In the 19th century, women were not allowed to own property, couldn't divorce their husbands, and had no stable employment. So choosing a wealthy, stable husband wasn't greed, it was survival instinct. Dr. Louann Brizendine, author of The Female Brain, says, women are wired to think long-term because they get pregnant, nurture, and protect children. This creates a tendency to assess a man's ability to commit and provide. So when Schopenhauer says women don't love men, only what they bring, he might have been right, but he lacked context. 2. Emotions and sensitivity, not weakness, but a social navigation tool. Dr. Brené Brown, an expert in vulnerability and human connection, explains, women learn early on that emotions are their only survival tool in a male-dominated power structure. If they can't command, they learn to persuade. If they can't fight back, they learn to cry. Schopenhauer saw emotions as manipulation. But to women, emotion is the language of existence. 3. Today, modern women have choices, but face their own pressures. Women today can be financially independent, highly educated, even CEOs. But they still face bias, too strong and men are intimidated, too successful and no one wants to marry you, too independent and you'll be alone. I've cried because I had to choose between a promotion and having a child. Not because I'm weak, but because society still struggles to accept a woman who is both capable and soft. Schopenhauer never saw the 21st century woman, strong yet vulnerable, free yet burdened. He only saw one piece of the picture. So was Schopenhauer wrong? Maybe not entirely, but he saw the world one-sidedly. We, the generation of today, have the responsibility to understand human nature more deeply, from both sides, male and female. When a man understands a woman with realism, not blindness. And when a woman understands a man, not only by his weakness, but also the weight he carries inside. That is mature love. No illusions. No bitterness. Just truth and acceptance. Truth doesn't take sides. It just needs to be spoken with empathy. Part 6. The truth that doesn't belong to just one gender. We've just gone through some thorny truths from Schopenhauer. We've seen that women sometimes choose safety over love. Seen that men easily fall into illusions and call it true love. And we've seen that what looks like manipulation may sometimes just be self-defense. But, before we end, there's one more truth, deeper, and it needs to be spoken. And it doesn't come from Schopenhauer. It comes from the women he never truly understood. Women are not schemers, they are survivors in a world that gives them little power. Dr. Lewin Brizendine, renowned neuroscientist, once said, "Women aren't born to be calculating. They learn it from circumstance. When they have no voice, they use emotion. When they aren't given a choice, they are forced to choose safety." When a woman chooses stability over love, it's not because she's cold. It may be because she's grown tired from choosing love again and again, only to end up with nothing. If men hurt because they're not truly loved, then women hurt because they're not allowed to truly be themselves. Dr. Brené Brown, expert on vulnerability and connection, says, "Women often feel they have to choose. Either be sweet and obedient, or independent and labeled as too much. What hurts the most is the feeling of never being enough, even when they've given it their all." Maybe Schopenhauer saw the pretense. But maybe he never saw the pain behind it. When men stop chasing illusions, and women are understood with empathy, not prejudice, that's when the two worlds stop clashing and start healing. The truth is, you don't need to hate women to protect yourself. You need to understand them and understand yourself even more. Only when you stop chasing illusions can you begin to build something real. Schopenhauer exposed the dark truths about women. But today, let's uncover a deeper truth. That both men and women are wounded by the same pain. And both can heal. If we're brave enough to face the truth without fear. And love, without illusions. The goal is not to defeat the other gender. The goal is to stop hurting each other in the dark. If this message truly touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Hit like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with those still struggling to find truth beyond the pain. And if you want a follow-up video on the truth about men, from a woman's perspective, leave a comment below. We're on this journey together.